What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the first episode of Darkest Dungeon. So there are two kinds of games that get coverage here at the Nerd Castle. First and foremost, there are games that I didn't expect to be good that land in my inbox. I try them out for a little while, and I'm like, yeah, I think I could make a series out of this. This seems like a lot of fun. Stranded Deep would be one of those series. It was one that I wasn't necessarily super looking forward to. It was on my radar, but once I played it, I was like, okay, yeah, I can definitely see the series right here. Darkest Dungeon is in the latter camp, where it's games that I've been following for like a year to a year and a half to even longer, and I've been very, very excited about showing them off the moment that they come out. And so let's get started with Darkest Dungeon. If you don't know what it is, it's a dungeon crawling party management game in which you have a party of heroes that are diving down into a dungeon. The storyline is roughly that you have like an uncle or like a family member who owns this mansion right here. He gets bored of being opulent and rich and having like really, really furry shirts and digs down underneath it and finds essentially like a portal to Cthulhu World. Cthulhu World, while in the same genre of theme park as Disney World, far less entertaining, a lot more maddening and terrifying. And so after destroying your fortune and basically finding this dungeon, he sends you a letter to have you come in with adventurers and clear the place out. It's all in the opening cinematic, which is... it's pretty short, but it's easy to explain. And so we're on our way out there. We're going to see if we can clear out Cthulhu World and see how much treasure and money we can make in the process. It's a party management simulator which kind of draws upon the psychological effects of adventurers going out and murdering and pillaging all day, every day. So sanity plays a major part in this game, and you just got to kind of keep an eye on it. There are lots of different classes, lots of different skills. I've played the game for a couple hours at this point, so I basically know how it functions, but the back end of this series is very much going to be blind. So without further ado, let's get started on the campaign. We've got to click on a letter. Let's see here. We will call this Nerd Castle YT. There we go, because I'm going to have playthroughs going of this on YouTube, on Twitch, and my own personal playthrough, because it's going to get rowdy. I played this game a little bit, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I can virtually guarantee I'm going to be up all night playing it tonight. The funny part is, they give you a giant splash screen before you start playing this, just like, you know this game is going to kick your ass, right? This is very much on the end of, like, hardcore games where bad things happen, and you just kind of have to make the best of a bad situation. So I'm going to leave my salt at the door, and hopefully we'll be able to, like, complete this with some sense of decorum remaining. I'll have some kind of pride left, I don't know.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Your initial problem here is that you decided to store your redemption in a gaping abyss. See, I keep mine in a sugar jar, just right there on the counter next to the tortilla chips and the Chex Mix. Very, very easy to get a hold of. When I need redemption, it's on the spot. No gaping abysses for me. Alright, so welcome into our first foray into Darkest Dungeon. This is the way that the game looks. This is how it's presented for like the remainder of the game, aside from some minor UI portions where you're on like a map screen of sorts. Here, you will find that the game functions very much like a while back. I covered a game that was sort of like an RPG tycoon again, where you click on boxes down here to move to various rooms.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Okay, so we'll get rid of that. You press WASD to move, just like you would expect to, and they'll have little conversations. They've all got personalities. They'll talk about things, and as you go along, they'll all start to develop kind of their own little psychoses and problems. For right now, though, we don't really have to worry about it. So as it goes, you lock in a destination, and then you just walk to the right, and that's how the game functions. That's a very, very well-ornamented, like, sewer grate right there. It looks great, is what I'm trying to say. Let's go onwards. Everybody knows.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
That's how, whenever I announce my arrival at any location, I start out by murdering another human being. That's always the best way to announce that you've arrived. It's like, stabbity, stabbity, stab, I'm here. Alright, so let's go with, we have a couple of different abilities here. Our first character is Dismas, and he's a highwayman. And so we're killing a highwayman with a highwayman. We have kind of like highwaymanception going on right now. And then our other character is a crusader. Combat in this game is turn-based and largely relegated to being resolved by your speed skill, as from what I understand. So by speed, you will take turns, so highest to lowest, I think is how it works. So it should be Dismas, and then this guy, and then our crusader, I think. But I'm not really remembering too well. It's been a while since I did this combat. I'm going to start off by stabbing the enemy. If you're looking at these little dots right here, so these abilities, Open Vein 1, the little yellow dots determine where he can use those in your party's line formation. So he can use it as long as he's in one of the first 3 positions. And he can use it on anybody who's in the first 2 positions in their line, which is the red dots. Every single ability has this positional... I don't even really know what to call it. It's kind of like a... I guess it's like a positional reckoning, I suppose, or a positional rendering where it allows you to figure out what attacks go where, I suppose, if I was really trying to enunciate this properly. If you see on this ability right there, it's got the little dots. They're connected by a bar. That means that it's an AoE that hits all 3 of those areas, or all 4 of those areas, or however many areas you're going to fire. We've got Grape Shot Blast right now, which is essentially using our pistol like a blunderbuss. But you know what? I'm going to make use of this rather effective and terrifying looking knife first. So let's stab on this guy. We've got an 85% chance to hit. So there it is. And it causes them to bleed for 2 points a round for 3 rounds. Ooh, 6 points of damage straight across the face with that blade, and now he's gonna bleed out. It looks like he, ooh, uppercuts. Okay, so he's gonna uppercut, slice back. So Dismas took a little bit of damage right there. You can see every party member's health down here, and then the number underneath that is stress. And so as that fills up, various other things are gonna happen. Our next character is Reynauld, who has a super awesome Dark Souls looking helmet. He's able to hit the enemy with Smite, which is just a normal melee attack that does bonus damage versus anything that's undead or evil. He's got Zealous Accusation, which is a ranged attack that has a damage modifier that is a little bit lower, I think. Like, it deals less damage, but it's a ranged attack, so basically you hurt them with words. You'd be like, "You, sir, your dentition hath the visage of a gravestone." And he'd be like, "Oh, no, you hurt my feelings. My teeth have always been a major point of my teeth have always been a point of pride in my family, and now I feel like I can't fight you anymore." And that's basically how it goes down right there. I'm going to start out with Stunning Blow, though, because it's only one enemy, and so if we can stun lock him, that would work out great. And so there it is. He's now stunned. I don't know if that lasts until his next turn or until something else happens. We'll find out in just a second. Open his veins further in the most grimdark of ways.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Alright, and so as our enemy crumbles, it leaves him in a pile of gold. And so there it is. We have a little bit of food and a little bit of gold. Not really going to matter for right now. Food is for later on in the game. Once you're adventuring and you're going to be away from your base for longer and longer, you have to have the food in order to keep on adventuring. Otherwise, bad things happen. Let's continue walking rightwards. We found an interactive object, namely this tent. If we press up in front of it, you will actually be able to loot it and find other goodies. The brigands have left valuables. Aha.
Checked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
Okay, and so we found ourselves 500 gold along with some Pokemans. Let's go ahead and take all of that and continue to the right. Since we're at the edge of the zone, we just want to press up right here, and it'll allow us to transition to our destination.
An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
I tried to send him a message, but he said return fight. He returned to sender. He shot us, so he's got a rather threatening looking blunderbuss. Let's start this thing out right. I think I'm going to go with pistol shot. I'm going to try and get this guy to the back line before we do anything else. I could AoE him, but honestly the AoE doesn't do a ton of damage. It does like 2 to 4 damage to everything in their line, or at least the front 3 in their line, whereas this attack right here can do quite a bit more and it has a chance to crit. If we wanted to, you can also use Take Aim, which is going to add an accuracy modifier and give him a better crit chance, but for right now, let's just unleash the Daka to the side of this fool's head. Ooh, and there it is. Daka distributed. I'm probably going to go for... Can I not do Zealous Accusation right now? I would like to do Zealous Accusation, but it doesn't appear as though it wants to be deployed in such a fashion. It looks like it'll hit everybody if I do it. Let's try. No, it did not hit everybody. It just hit the guy in the front. So that's a little bit disappointing, considering it said that it was a chain-together attack that hit both things. Maybe he's got a modifier that stops AoEs. It's hard to tell, but anyways, the ability said that it would hit both of them, but it didn't. So, you know, I guess spilt milk at this point.
Give them no quarter.
Why would I give them a quarter? They're not a vending machine. They don't have candy for me. Neither are they an arcade machine, because those days are long gone. So I guess Zealous Accusation, it still did a pretty decent amount of damage, though. All things considered, 7 damage is a lot. Let's try and stun lock him, because I'm a giant cheese ball like that. Okay, so we got the stun off. So that should make it so that we can work our way through our next couple turns without having to suffer any more damage. I'm going to keep going with... Actually, he's got a lot of HP. Let's see if we can get him bleeding. We'll use open vein on him. And so now he should be dripping out slowly on the ground. Everything runs red? I don't think everything runs red. Things might run fast, or things might run poorly. Things might run with a limp, but they definitely don't all run red. Blood runs red, though. One of the few things that expresses its footular joy by running red. Let's see here. Footular? I don't know if that's pedicle joy. There we go. I like that better. Stunlock cheese mode. We're going to continue stunlocking this guy because that's just the way that I do business. Now that he's bleeding, we're going to shoot him. So there's 5 damage right there. He blocked it with his super awesome wristbands, though. No, I'm joking. He took 5 damage. He's good. I'm going to smite him now because I think we could finish him on this turn. Can we? No. We're going to have to go into another turn. Well, we might be able to. Let's try for it. 11 damage with smite right there as we put our blade across his face. Dismas should have the next attack, so we'll give him this, and if he doesn't miss, we should be able to...
Size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Indeed it does not. Rifling through the corpses reveals some deeds, 125 gold, and a torch, but surprisingly no rifles. So we'll take all of that. Mission accomplished. We're all done here, so we just click on this to leave. Let's check out this chest, though, first. Something doesn't look quite right with this one. Indeed, if you click on it, it will poison you. It goes away when you go to town, but it's just the developer's way of letting you know that, like, everything that looks like it might be an amazing loot receptacle could be booby-trapped. Okay, so there we go. Victory. Our quest rewards 5,000 ducats. We've also got 1,150 and also that awesome alliterative purple pouch to go along with our other stuff. A little bit of onyx that we can sell when we get to a vendor. We got 2 deeds. What these are for, these are called heirlooms, and you spend them on upgrading your city, but we'll talk about that next. We got 2 resolve XP, which means that I don't think he leveled up or anything. Oh, he got a new ability, Nymphomania. So apparently we got to worry about him sticking his dinghy in everything that, you know, draws breath. Or maybe even not draws breath. Who even knows?
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
He appears to be reading the funniest, like, medieval comic ever. I'm going to assume that he's not insane and he's just got the funny papers right now. He's like, yes, that is true. Oh, look, Garfield, he loves lasagna and hates Mondays. Oh, Garfield, you make the grim darkness not so grim dark. Alright, so this is the city. The city is very, very simple. There's various locations that provide you with different services. You do quests to unlock them, and then you use your heirlooms, or your heirlooms, in order to make them better. I don't know why I decided to produce heirlooms. A heirloom is just for weaving hair into ropes and other useful objects. Largely limited in use, though, unless your name is Rapunzel. I mean, I guess you could... She has a lot of hair. You could weave it into something good, but like a... I don't know. Using a hair rope seems like it'd be odd for anything other than lashing together sea turtles, I guess. Let's go to the graveyard.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
See, that's sort of unsettling because, like, once I'm dead, I figure that it's all over. I'm not going to worry about anything that happens after I die. I'm like, yeah, dance with my corpse, leave it out in the street, whatever. It's all good. It doesn't bother me anymore. I'm out. The fact that they mention it makes it seem like you might be slightly below the surface, like waiting for oblivion to come, even though you're technically dead. That seems very unpleasant.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Alright, and so the stagecoach is where we get new adventurers from, and so you can see some of them lining up right here. The game wants us, we have to do this because of the tutorial, it wants us to upgrade this, and so if we upgrade the hero barracks, it makes our roster larger, and if we upgrade the network, it increases the number of available heroes to 3. So what it's talking about is your hero barracks is over on the right hand side right here, where you store up heroes for later when you go on adventures, and then the stagecoach network increases the number right here that you can recruit to your party. We're just going to go with this one right here.
Word is traveling. Ambition is stirring in distant cities. We can use this.
Yes, because the first thing I think when I see other human beings is how can I use them. Anyways, I think if we reopen the stagecoach... No, it's locked for right now. So I was hoping it would add the third person so that we could actually have a little bit of a selection, but because we're inside the tutorial for the moment, we kind of just have to live with it. We've got Kenagri, and Kenagri is a Seeker Vestal.
A sister of battle, pious and unrelenting.
I played Bravely Default, but they never, like, really tell you what a Vestal is, and I just didn't look it up because, dictionaries. But anyways, if you're wondering what she is, she's basically a sister of Sigmar, Or if you're into the male variant, a warrior priest of Sigmar. This game has a lot of things that draw off of Warhammer, especially Warhammer Fantasy. Like a lot of the things, it's drawing from a lot of different references. So anyways, if you wanted to figure out what she is, she's like a healer melee hybrid that's a lot like a sister of Sigmar. And then we have Auvrey. Auvrey is a plague doctor. He uses all AoE attacks to debuff the enemy and just cause them general pain and make
Better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield.
It makes basically all that he does. He's a debuffer. He makes it very, very difficult for the enemy to do their job. Don't expect him to do a lot of DPS, but he's got a lot of utility abilities, which are pretty sweet. Alright, so now that we've got our 4, we can go on a quest. I would love to get another quest in before we quit right here for the day, so let's embark.
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
Okay, and so if you want to know what you're doing right here, you're essentially just organizing your lines. You want to drag and drop these guys in any order that you want. I'd say put your melees towards the front, pay attention to their abilities and how they can use them, and just try to optimize your line. I'm going to leave him in the back, which is going to cause one of his abilities not to work, but all of his abilities are thrown like vials of poison and disease and things like that. Essentially, he gives the enemy just terminal cases of syphilis and makes them just die of coughing, and so you want him in the back lines because he's quite squishy. Also, we'll leave our Crusader in the front. Actually, we should probably, if you right-click on everybody, so I didn't bring this up, you can right-click on any character. It'll open up this little menu right here, and in so doing, you can actually see the various abilities and debuffs that they have. So, he's got quirks. He's a Warrior of Light, which means that light above 75, he gets plus 10% damage. So it's in your best interest when you have him DPSing to keep your illumination up. His quirks, he's prone to stealing items, so he's a kleptomaniac, God-fearing Crusader. So obviously he doesn't fear God that much, considering he's like sinning all day, every day with his kleptomaniacy, but anyways... or his kleptomaniacal tendencies. There we go, that was a little bit more cogent. Kleptomaniac, he's prone to stealing items, so just gotta be aware of that. God-fearing means that when he goes to town, he will only pray for stress relief. Later on, you can allow your characters to pray for various things. He can only do it for stress relief. He's got all his abilities right here. He's got various camping skills, so these take place when you're in the camping menu. So he's got Encourage, which means that he can reduce their stress. He's got Stand Tall, which means that he takes less stress damage because he's just, he sticks his chest out and uses bravado to get through. And then he has Zealous Speech, which means he can heal everybody for 10% and reduce their stress when you're in camp. So lots of useful stuff right there. Canagri has Bandage, so she can treat people's wounds when you're in camp. She's got Pray, which allows her to reduce stress of any religious character in the group. And then Sanctuary, if religious, allows you to reduce the chance of nighttime ambushes. She's got Ruins Tactician, which means that if you're in ruins, she deals more damage. If you're in the walled, she scouts better. Her quirks are that she has stomach cramps, so she receives less healing while in camp. There's a joke in here somewhere, but I'm not going to make it. Bloodthirsty, she's fascinated with injury, wounds, and torture, so I have no idea what that has to do with anything. My assumption is that maybe she gets a buff when there's blood drawn. Like if somebody's bleeding, maybe? I don't know. Her abilities are very, very simple. Oh, she has different abilities than the one that I have in my playthrough. Ooh. Hold on, I didn't know that that could happen. Oh, she has different abilities. Okay, so that's the same. That's the same. So she's got a ranged attack, she's got a melee attack, she has a single target heal right here. In my game, she has an AoE heal that does 1 to 2 healing to everybody in the group simultaneously. So she's actually going to be more of like a main tank healer than a group healer. And she has Illumination, which I think tries to blind the enemy, as I recall. I don't remember though. It raises your illumination and then it does something else. I don't remember. We'll have to play around with it. With Dismas, we've already talked about him, so let's be on our way. Bandit Sense, okay. I like to have a good idea. If I'm mousing through these things, what does Nymphomania do for us? Oh, if you take him to the brothel, he gets more stress healed. Okay, so he likes to get that. He's got quick reflexes and a hard noggin, which gives him stun resist. He's a known cheat, which means he's not allowed to gamble, but that's fine. We're going to send him to the brothel most of the time. All of the abilities will have this right here. This is what we talked about in the first fight. It just tells you where they like to use it in your line and who they like to use it against in the enemy's line. Let's get to provisioning. We'll get started on our next adventure.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
So on this screen, this is where you want to provision yourself for the adventure ahead. There will be many stop-offs and there will be many camps, and so adventures will be of varying lengths. So with this, it says that you want to bring 8 food. I'm going to bring 10, just in case. I'm going to go over the top. It also said that we should bring 4 torches, I think. I'm going to bring 6 or 7, just in case. I don't know if these go away after you finish the adventure. We'll figure that out in just a second. Probably bring a couple of anti-venoms, a couple of bandages so that we can heal bleeding. We can heal illnesses and blights and poisons. Take some medicinal herbs for diseases. Skeleton key in case we come across a chest. And a shovel, just in case we need to clear some obstacles. And then let's be on our way out.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Okay, so welcome to your first non-tutorial adventure. If you're wondering, there are little cuts being made as we play through. I have yet to find, I've tried like 5 visual softwares on this game and none of them like it. Fraps, DxTory, Bandicam, everything hates this game right now. So ultimately I have to make these little cuts because the game gets sad every single time I try and record it. So if you're wondering why things are sort of like jumping around and there's like long silences and whatever, that would be why. Let's say that we can go to 2 rooms right here. Let's go to the one that's up above us because I feel better about it. And we got a couple minutes left in the episode, but let's see what we can accomplish here. A pack. The pack contains loot. Of course it does. It looks like somebody died in here. It looks like it's got a little bit of extra food and 125 gold. I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. That's not something that I'm going to balk at the possibility of adding to my own supply. What's going on in here? The lock mechanism is trapped. Should have known better, but he resisted it, so that's good. Alright, well at least nothing bad happened. And it looks like this room was actually completely and totally empty. Nothing to worry about here. Oh! Okay, so it looks like we managed to surprise some undead enemies. That may work to our benefit, though, because our party does have a couple of holy characters in it. They're not holy yet. They haven't been shot or stabbed, but you know what I mean. We're going to use Grape Shot Blast on these guys because we've got a lot of AoEing. Actually, let's focus fire for right now. Let's see who we can eliminate. I don't know if we can make him bleed. He is made of simply bone and metal, so I really don't feel like that's going to help much. We can go with Noxious Blast, which will hit the front 2. We can go with Disorienting Blast if we do that one right there, and it looks like it says that it shuffles the enemy, so maybe it moves their line around a little bit. Let's try that out. Let's try it. Oh, it did. It moved their line around. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, and so now we've got Mace Bash or we've got Illumination. I think I'll probably go for... Oh, she can only use that from the back line? Ooh, okay. So basically you've got to decide whether you want Dazzling Light or whether you want Mace Bash. I guess we'll stick with Mace Bash for right now. Let's get started on this little magey looking guy right here. Plus he has that super awesome pimp cup and I want it. So let's go ahead and destroy him. Oh no! He dodged us. Oh, at least we got a free turn though. A Tempting Goblet. Ow! What did you tempt me with? A beating? Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't like that at all. Battlefield Medicine. We can cure blight or poison. Okay, or blight or bleed. Okay, that's alright. I don't want that right now. Let's just go for Noxious Blast. We'll get rid of this little guy.
Give them no quarter.
Alright, so the enemy's been dealt with. Let's deal with... I'm going to go with Grape Shot Blast. 4, 2, and 4 to their line. Pretty good AoE right there. Not going to complain about it. Let's get started on the Bone Defender. We did 9 damage right there. Very good. And hopefully we'll be able to finish him off. I don't know. Graveyard Slash is coming through. Going to deal a little bit of damage to Canagri. With Canagri, she can only use her heal from the back line too, so I'm going to move her because I feel like she's a waste where she is right now. We might not be able to melee with her. Dead Weight. Oh, okay, so that pushed our line back too. That's not good. We got problems right now. We got very serious issues. So since she's up here, I'm going to get started with the heals. There's a 4 to her right there. That affordable healing. We've got a Noxious Blast. So let's start off with that on him.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Okay, and so the enemy is down. Graveyard Slash is coming back out. It's going to hit our Crusader. They are focusing fire right now, so we'll have to be careful about that. But we've got more than enough healing to keep ourselves in the fight, I think. Our stress is what's going to be more concerning. So on this side, what do we want to accomplish? Since he's stuck in the front line, we might as well... Oh, he missed. Okay. Let's say we might as well make use of our abilities, but he used his turn to bypass his stun. That's how you get rid of stuns, is you bypass your turn. Let's open Vein again on the core. Yeah, let's do that.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Okay, so he's down. We're going to throw our Poison Vial at him. He's a skeleton, so I don't really think it's going to help that much. Oh, we gave the skeleton Blight. Hell yeah. Okay, let's take a swing at him. God, we are missing a lot right now. Because we're in the back line, what does Dazzling Light do? It looks like it deals damage. A minus 50% damage mod, but it has a stun chance and gives you a few more torch points. If you're wondering, I think it makes the light better. Maybe that's the problem. There we go.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Okay, so the enemy is defeated. We come out with 25 gold, 4 crests, some citrines, which would be nice. They sell those for a reasonable amount down in Death Valley, actually. A lot of places sell citrines. And then we've got some emeralds as well. Green like Molten Envy. I don't think envy is a hot emotion. I don't think of it as hot. I think of envy as being cold, like shockingly cold. Like, you know when you're snowboarding and you fall down and like your shirt comes up and then snow like stabs you in your side and it's all freezing cold? That's how I think of envy if I was going to describe it in a literary sense. But you know what? To each his own. What's up with this chest right here? I need to rearrange our line for a second. And we can't cast heals in between combat. Unfortunate. So that'll increase our light level, which is at 75 right now. Let's go ahead and open the chest. The contents are yours. Well, yeah, we just took them. Ooh, more busts. Hooray! You can never have enough busts on any adventure. Select a destination on the room map. Oh, did we dead end out? Okay, so we completed this room. I'm going to break the episode off right here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. I look forward to seeing you all in the future. Take care out there, everybody. And as always, hi-do.